So, what are we discussing today?
Lefties.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Lefties.
Lefties. All right. So,
Be a lefty.
I have this idea that lefties. Okay, I get that people are born left-handed. There's a small minority of people who are born with using their devil's hand, and is that what it's called, devil's hand?
No, I went to Catholic school, dude. And devil's hand is what you touch yourself with.
It's like I'm trying to think of it. I'm confusing it with the devil's lettuce. I'm like, what's
Well, Catholic school left is devil's hand also.
So it is devil's hand.
Yeah.
All right. So I have this theory, sort of, that left-handed people that sort of, once they get to a certain age, if they continue to shoot left-handed, that they are either knowingly or unknowingly, but willingly, sort of disabling themselves or putting a handicap on themselves when it comes to firearms, because the majority of firearms are right-handed. Like even semi-automatic handguns that are supposedly totally ambidextrous, they all eject to the right. So you can't do like a mirror image on, like, say, a Glock. So if you're a right-handed person, when you rack it, you can just do like that. But a left-handed person can't do that because they might put their hand in front of the ejection port. So they have to modify their reload for that. So
usually front cocking serrations is the answer, quote unquote, to that, to let them grab it a little bit higher up.
Yeah.
Not my cup of tea, but.
So I want to ask you guys what y'all think of particularly people who shoot historical firearms when they choose to shoot these firearms that are meant to be right-handed, and they shoot them left-handed, and they maybe pretend or not pretend that they can do it just fine. I mean, are they putting themselves at a disadvantage, or are they? I feel like they're not quite getting the whole historical sort of experience of shooting old right-handed guns whenever you shoot them left-handed. So I don't know. What do you think?
When I was in the military, if you're right-handed and right-eye dominant, you will shoot with your right hand. If you're left-handed or left-eye dominant, you'll shoot with your left hand. It's a weird mishmash of just doctrine and dogma. So could you say that doctrine and dogma transgressed all the way back when, or was that the foundations for it?
Yeah. So my understanding is that most militaries back in the day, even if you were left-handed, you were still trained to shoot right-handed on the rifles. Mm-hmm. So, but somewhere from then to now, it's already got mixed up, and now
that would be because of the snowflakes and millennials.
Yes.
Yeah. So the snowflakes and millennials now they want their own.
And baby boomers. God, those bastards.
They're the ones that truly messed it up.
Well, let's be honest here. I know we're getting a little off topic, but if it wasn't for the baby boomers, we wouldn't have millennials and snowflakes. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry. Okay, so if I can play devil's advocate for just a minute.
Okay. All right.
On behalf of the guys who shoot left-handed, I'm not one of them, but I get what you're saying about missing out on the experience of shooting the gun the way it was designed to be shot. But the other thing is, if they're shooting the gun the way it was designed to be shot, but they're not shooting in a way that's comfortable to them, I feel like they would be missing out on something else at the same time. So, like, if you, if you're used to shooting a gun left-handed and you shoot everything left-handed, and then you have to shoot this rifle right-handed for it to be shot the way that, it was meant to be shot, well, it would be a totally different experience for that guy than it would be for someone who always shoots right-handed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and I think devil's advocate is a fair term for that, because obviously left-handers are the devil, or at least it's but like gingers and Canadians.
Oh yeah. So I get what you're saying. So to me, the remedy for that is just to, if people are taught, even if they are left-handed, they're just taught to shoot right-handed. And like the point you made about being like left-eye dominant, I'm right-handed but left eye dominant,
Same.
but I still shoot rifles right-handed.
Mm-hmm.
And like to me,
See, I'm just all right.
oh, so so like to me, like when I'm firing, say like I'm shooting an AR with a red dot on it, and I'm keeping both eyes open. Like I could see how your brain's using your left eye mostly, and so you're maybe losing some of the dot or whatever. But I think I've done it enough where I almost like the fact that I'm left eye dominant now, because I have a better field of view with my left eye, and that's the dominant eye. So I'm able to sort of transpose the red dot onto the better vision of my left eye, because I do have slightly better vision with my left eye also. So to me, like using red dots, keeping both eyes open, I like it. But shooting more precision, if I ever have to close my left eye, then if your left eye's closed, your right eye then is your dominant eye.
Yes.
No matter. But
Well, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I do the same thing, trained right-handed, right eye shot. Except for when it comes to magnification. That's where it usually will screw with me. But very few and far between will you actually say that, oh, this old Milsurp has a 4-power scope or so on and so forth. Those are kind of more in the rarer areas now.
yeah, that's true. There's only a handful of like military surplus guns that I can think of that would have a type of scope like that. Okay, sort of scenario for you two guys. And all right, so there's an old gun shooting competition. So everyone brings old guns. All right. So a guy is left-handed and he brings an old gun that was meant to be fired right-handed to a competition, and he fires that gun left-handed. So are we all in agreement that he is at a disadvantage by shooting a right-handed gun left-handed?
Well, it's
90% of the time.
It's certainly not an advantage. Whether it's a disadvantage or not probably has more to do with who he is as a shooter, or what certain design aspects of the rifle are.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if a left-handed guy was shooting like an M1 Grand or carbine or maybe like an AK, I could almost see that a left-handed shooter might be at a slight disadvantage, because the charging handles being on the right side is a little bit maybe quicker for them to actuate. Mm-hmm. But let's just say like a bolt-action rifle.
Sure.
So you're shooting a bolt-action rifle. Maybe even this left-handed person is trying to historically and accurately portray a person back in the day using this old rifle in this competition, but he's shooting it left-handed. Is that sort of counterintuitive to the whole aspect of trying to be historically accurate? Or
In historically accurate sense, yes, it is counterintuitive. If you're trained right-handed shots and all for that time frame, try to correlate and make it more as it is now.
Well, and I would also say that it depends a little bit, at least, on the type of competition gun. So, if it's for instance, a military rifle related competition, then absolutely that is out of character, because they would have been trained to shoot right-handed at almost any historical period. If it was something like a recreation of an old shooting competition, then it would be a little different, because 300 years ago, gunsmiths were making left-handed guns for people who were left-handed. Mm-hmm. And so if someone was a competitive shooter a long time ago, they probably would have had a rifle that was made for them. And that's how you end up with some of these interesting guns with like bent stocks. Mm-hmm. The guys who shot right-handed but were left-eye dominant and things like that. So, I would say it really depends on the scenario. But in general, yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. But you were saying, guys, like in the modern military, guys that you've seen in like multiple branches, lefties, they use M16s and M4s. They shoot them left-handed.
They shoot left-handed unless they're right-eye dominant. Then it's more likely trained onto the right-hand side.
So it's more about eye dominance than it is hand dominance at that point.
Your eye dominance is often the key to everything.
Okay, so it's more about the eyes than actually what hand they prefer then.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
In boot camp, an interesting story is we weren't allowed to eat with our right hands in all of period. The idea is to facilitate loading in all of a magazine or anything like that. So you eat with a fork, and just use your left hand upright eating chow.
That's interesting. That's pretty cool.
Training and doctrine. Same thing with holding a drink with your right hand. Hold it in this lobster claw formation. And it's to simulate pulling the charging handle on the M16. That's all it is.
That's pretty cool. Huh, I didn't know that. Huh. All right, so what is our determination on lefties? Are they the willingly disabled? If you are using historical firearms, okay, we'll say two different categories: modern firearms and historical firearms.
Sure.
Historical firearms are lefties the willingly disabled if they still choose to fire old guns left-handed.
I would say they put themselves at something of a disadvantage as far as certain aspects of it, but not so much as far as other aspects of it. So I'd say, for me at least, that question is the answer is more complicated to that question than a simple yes or no.
Okay, that was like a really good politician's answer right there.
Didn't answer anything, but gave you a nice, good.
Yeah, I felt good after it though. So
Well,
yeah,
that's good. Do you have a baby I could kiss?
I have to agree, though. There's too many variables in order to be actually say that it's definitively right or wrong. In a true historic sense, yes, it is wrong. But as shooting has evolved and more people have gotten into shooting with their left side, or what we call weak or reactionary, are they wrong? Is it just into a historical aspect, or will it be into the shooter? Because it's ultimately the shooter that is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so modern firearms then. What do you guys like
Modern
that?
firearms. Well, I would say that it probably complicates things even more because a lot of modern firearms are available in left-hand configurations. You can get a left-hand AR now. They make left-hand 1911s. I don't know what the hell that's about, but you know.
Cabinet. The left-handed 1911 mirror image, and I think that is blasphemy upon blasphemy upon blasphemy.
Well, and another interesting thing is mirror image doesn't always work well for
No.
lefties, but that's a whole nother subject. So I would say modern it's even more complicated because of the availability of firearms that are engineered for left-hand shooters today.
Yeah. Now, more of a standard though. Like, say this left-handed person either doesn't have the money for the specialty guns.
Mm-hmm.
So if this left-handed person was to just kind of pick up standard off-the-shelf type stuff, like we shot revolvers today. So if I was a left-handed person and I shot that revolver, I feel like with the way to be able to open up the cylinder on it, I feel like that is very easy. With the right-handed, it's kind of set
Yeah,
up
with
for
the right
right-handed.
hand, you just use your thumb, pop the latch, and the cylinder's open. So I would say it probably has, in my mind at least, more to do with the shooter themselves than the gun. So if you've got somebody who shoots left-handed all the time and he chooses to shoot a right-handed rifle or right-handed pistol left-handed, I would say that the proof would be in the pudding. So let him shoot it right-handed, let him shoot it left-handed. See what he does better with. I would say that some guys might do better shooting right-handed, particularly if they're right eye dominant. And some of those guys, they're just going to suck at right-handed shooting no matter what.
Yeah.
And so they need to shoot that gun left-handed to be at the best position they can be. So
Yeah, it gives a very interesting idea. And all. My father is one of these people. He's right-handed,
okay.
so he'll shoot pistols, so on and so forth. Everything right-handed. But shotgun, he migrates over to his left-hand side, and it's nothing to do with a shoulder injury or anything like that. It's just he feels that he's a better shot with his left hand, so it's all in the proof of the pudding of the person.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, so I shoot a left-hand bow right-handed. I pull the arrow across the bow the wrong way.
Okay.
So obviously I can't shoot a compound bow very well, but recurve or a longbow I shoot. I shoot the arrow on the other side of the riser, which is just weird.
Yeah.
But that's how I taught myself to do it when I was a kid, and it's how I've always done it, and I had good success with it. So, yeah.
So you ask for a left-handed bow even though you shoot it right-handed.
Yeah.
I could see that. Like with the shotgun, I could see how shooting a shotgun left-handed might be advantageous, just because depending on the shotgun, loading it in, if you're going to load it straight into the breech of like a pump shotgun, that might be a little bit easier if it's on your left side and you're loading it in with your right side. Because if you're a right-handed shooter, what you have to rotate it kind of over so you can see it and flip it. Or if you're shooting it right-handed, it's just more of a straight. You don't have to flip it or anything.
Exactly, and I think that might be where it exactly comes from. So
yeah, that does make some sense. But all right, so I feel like still there are left-handed guns, but they're probably going to be more expensive. So that's the disadvantage of being a lefty,
and certainly harder to find.
Yeah, harder to find, more expensive.
And
so
harder
that's
to procure on the business end also. I work at a gun shop, and it's hard to find left-handed models on things.
Yeah.
Like, say if I was a lefty and I came into your shop, and I said, I want a left-handed AR-15. Like, what can you do for me?
Well, there was Stag way back when, and how's Stag doing nowadays, guys?
I have no idea.
Isn't that stag dead with its antlers in the dirt and its feet in the air?
Yes. Yeah. It's few and far between, and frankly, I think it's just better to learn it with right-hand mechanics instead of worrying about the ejection port, which is truly what the answer with Stag gave.
All right, so here's my thought on all this. So we're talking about guys who are grown men or women who are left-handed and choosing to shoot left-handed with right-handed guns or whatever. And what we haven't really gotten into is the cure so that future generations don't have to deal with this. And
Yeah.
I think what it is we need shock collars.
Oh, okay.
work great for dogs.
Or even shock bracelets. So someone goes to do something with their left hand and they get shocked, and they have to do it with their right hand instead.
Yeah.
This would be especially effective for teenage boys.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if it works for dogs, it could work for children too. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
train them from an early age. But
So we might not be able to solve the snowflake issue, but we can solve whatever the hell they're going to call the next generation after that.
But the shot collar thing kind of goes into another point of, if you are left-handed, just from a young age, you need to just learn to shoot right-handed, and you can sort of minimize your disability. Or, say if you're a parent of a child who's left-handed, teach them to shoot right-handed. That way they're just, I'm left-handed, but I shoot right-handed. So they don't...
So
More options are open to them in that aspect.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I think most people who are left-handed find it a lot easier to be ambidextrous than people who are right-hand dominant. And ambidexterity is a great thing. So if you've got a kid who's acting, a young kid who's doing a lot more stuff with their left hand, encourage them to do stuff with the right hand. And as far as the shooting thing, honestly, I would say I would go back to the eye dominance thing. If someone is left eye dominant, don't try and force them to act like they're right eye dominant, because it can be really discouraging when you're not doing well shooting early on. And so giving them every advantage that you can in that, I think, is probably a good thing. And playing to their strength of eye dominance, I think, would be a positive thing for that. So
Wow, makes sense. So the key is to just, when you're born, make sure that you're right eye dominant and right-handed.
bingo.
And then they'll be fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't we have Genesis working on that right now?
I hope
Perfect
so.
Super babies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they were doing the same thing in Germany at one point, but
Nah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you chiming in on this topic. So there we go. Hope you learned something, guys.
yeah, don't be left-handed.
Yeah.